All right, this is CC.17 on IXL.com. We're in 8th grade math. We need to choose the best type of graph. By the way, make sure you subscribe and like. Which type of graph would you use to show the population of a city each year for 10 years? Each year for 10 years. What do you think? Drake? A line graph. Why do you say a line graph? Yeah, sometimes, here's a hint. If you ever have time, 10 years, time is a good indication that we'll use a line graph. Let's see if we're right. Oh, cool. Now, quick way to get rid of that. I don't know. Well, we'll see. The X. That didn't work. Oh, man. All right. Anyway, we'll deal with it. Which type of graph would best show the number of sheets of paper used by each class if paper comes in 100 sheet boxes? 100 sheet boxes. Okay. We have stem and leaf, pictograph, circle graph, a double bar graph. Sure, Mr. Stone?
Circle graph.
Why?
Because you're dealing with a number out of 100.
But each class, so imagine like this: we have several classes, okay, and each class has they have a box of paper, okay, and we want to know how much each class used. So in this case, because one class could use 90 sheets of paper, and another class that only has a few people could use 10 sheets of paper. So we want to compare it all nicely. What do you think? Double bar graph. We use a double bar graph when there is two sets of data. Right here, there's only one set. Yep. Yeah, we would either go with a stem and leaf or a regular bar graph. And since a regular bar graph is not an option, stem and leaf plot is the one to go with. We'll see if we're right. Normally, you don't want to do pictographs. Pictographs are normally not a good option. We'll see. Oh, see, let's say what'd they do? They said pictograph. What in the world? I think that's wrong. Let's see what they say though. They say the best type of graph to show the number of sheets per paper used by each class if the paper comes in 100 sheet boxes is pictograph. It compares two or more values that are multiples of a number. For example, okay, each two vehicles, each one vehicle. All right, I would do a bar graph. Okay, a stem and leaf. Okay, here's why they said don't use a stem and leaf. They say a stem and leaf plot shows the number in a large data set arranged by place value. See, I would prefer a stem and leaf plot for this one because you could do, you could use 5 and then, but they said don't do a stem and leaf plot because it's a large data set, and for a number of classes, a teacher might only have 8 classes, so that's not a large data set. But we'll try another one. That line is still there. Which is the best type of graph to show the number of students who prefer pets and the number of students who prefer pencils? Pens, got to be pens, not pets. Who prefer pens and the number of students who prefer pencils in each grade? What would we say? Mr. Bruce? Why? Okay, it's not a double bar graph. We'll see one that is double bar graph, and hopefully we'll be able to see the difference. Okay, Bryce? A line graph. Why? Normally, line we need time. Line we need time. Yep. A circle graph. Why? Okay. Okay, it's either circle graph or stem and leaf plot. Here's what it is. Here's what I'm saying it is. It's circle graph. Here's why. Because a circle graph does percentages, right? And if we have the number of students in a grade, but in each grade, number of students who prefer pens and who prefer pencils in each grade. Okay, who said double bar graph? Mr. Bruce, I think you're right because we have each grade. We potentially have 13 different things we're looking at. Kindergarten all the way to 12th grade. And for each of those 13, we have 2 things to compare: pens and pencils, pens and pencils. Does that make sense? So I'm going to go with double bar graph, and let's see. That's it. You're right. Okay. So we're moving on. Which type of graph would best show the number of markers in each classroom? If markers come in boxes of 20. Hey, which one do you think this one is? Well, according to the other one that we got wrong, it was pictograph, right? And this one very much mirrors that, right? Would you guys agree with pictograph? Let's try it. It uses pictures instead of so it uses like a picture of a marker that would represent 20. All right. Yeah. Which type of graph would best show the number of boys and the number of girls in each grade? Why? There's 2 options for every grade, right? So double bar graph would be the way to go. We've been recording. We're still recording, and we're still going. Okay. Which type of graph would you use to show the percentage of total energy that comes from coal, gas, solar power, or other sources? Right? Circle. Why? Right. Percentages would be percentage. Think circle graphs. Super. Which type of graph would best show the number of staples used by each teacher if the staples came in rows of 50? Pictograph, rows of 50. Yeah, we'll go with that. Again, general. Okay, once you get out of 8th grade, never make a pictograph again. They're just lame. So mainly because math people are really bad artists. So drawing pictures is not fun. All right.
It just mocks them.
Yeah. Which type of graph would you use to show the number of cows 40 farmers each own? We have 40 farmers, and we need to know how many cows they each own. Right? Which one? We have 40 farmers. That's a pretty large. Okay. It's definitely not pictograph. Okay, here's why. Because it doesn't say that it doesn't say that, one ranch represents 500 cows. Does that make sense? Like before we had one box represents 20 markers. Okay, so we don't have that. And it's not a circle graph because we don't have percentages. It's either bar graph or stem and leaf plot.
Bar graph. Well, bar graph is like a stem and leaf plot.
Yeah, bar graph and stem and leaf plot are pretty much the same. I would, and again, okay, in reality, when you get out of high school, you're never going to see stem and leaf plots ever again, probably. Or pictographs. So bar graph would probably be the one that I would do. Let's see. If they say stem and leaf plot, it's because it's a large set of data. But let's see what they say. Yeah. So they said stem and leaf plot. Okay. Because they say it's a large data set. All right. So. Okay. So, let's go. Which type of graph would you use to show the number of students who own each type of pet? Got to be bar. Because it's not percentage, it's number. It's actual numbers. This person, there are 20 people who own cows. Why do you have cows for a pet? I don't know. But let's try it. Okay. How much time are we at? All right. Which is the best type of graph to show the number of apples sold each month? Line, because we have time. All right, we got about 30 seconds left. Which type of graph would you use to show the weights of several kinds of birds? Several kinds of birds. Okay, for this one, because it's several kinds of birds, you could list all the types of birds along the bottom and then have the weights going up.
6.
So the bar graph would probably be the best. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.